Welcome one and all to Fallout TV. Last night we got the news that Fallout was being renewed for a second season, and I could not be happier with that news. As for the details, like a release date, there isn't one yet, and there's actually no other details other than the fact that it has been renewed. I imagine that we'll start getting some details probably towards the end of this year, and maybe at the start of next year, depending on everyone else's schedule, they'll start filming for Season 2, ready for release in 2026. But let's face it, we kind of already knew Season 2 was going to happen because of the way that Season 1 ended, and the news last week that they have been given the green light to start filming in California because of tax credits. Moving on now to the Fallout New Vegas and Shady Sands controversy. Now, if you've seen the series and you've been online in the last week, you'd know that some people don't understand how an arrow works, or better yet, how a timeline works. So we get the scene where Lucy walks into the classroom in Vault 4. She's having a little look around, looks at the NCR flag, and then we get the chalkboard. And on this chalkboard is a timeline of Shady Sands. You've got when Shady Sands was founded in 2142, 2189, New California Public was created, 2198, Shady Sands becomes the capital of the NCR, 2241, the NCR becomes the largest economic and political power in California, 2277, the fall of Shady Sands, and then an arrow to an explosion. So in 2277, this would be the start of the fall of Shady Sands, and then sometime after that is when it gets blown up. Now, anyone with a brain cell would actually realise what the arrow means, is that moving forward in events, that is when it happened. So then after that scene was when people started going to the internet and screaming and shouting that everything has been retconned because of the fact that New Vegas happens in 2281. So then it meant that New Vegas was retconned because there's no mention of it happening in New Vegas. The whole thing was just a complete mess. It was then confirmed by Todd Howard himself in a recent interview with IGN that New Vegas is still canon, nothing has been retconned, and Shady Sands was blown up shortly after the events of Fallout New Vegas.
And just so people here I know are watching this, like, we're careful about the timeline. There might be a little bit of confusion in some places, but everything that happened in the previous games, including New Vegas, happened.
Well, I was actually specifically going to ask you about that Shady Sands timeline conversation, and you say that, nothing in New Vegas is retconned. I think the rub to kind of TLDR it is that the fall, quote unquote, of Shady Sands happens in 2277, which is 4 years before New Vegas. So was that just like, are people just misunderstanding what the fall of Shady Sands means, or like anything like that?
All I could say is like, we're threading it tight there, but the bomb falls just after the events of New Vegas. Like that's when Shady Sands blows.
So basically the fall of Shady Sands, it doesn't mean a nuke necessarily.
Correct.
So there you have it. You've heard it from the man himself. Nothing has been retconned. Everything is okay. Your favourite Fallout game is still canon to the entire series. So then when we get to the very end of the very last episode, we see Hank in the power armor with the Deathclaw skull, and then the camera pans up over the back of Hank, and in the distance you can see New Vegas. But then in the credit scene, it looks like New Vegas has been destroyed, torn to pieces. Looks like there's been a bit of a war and a fight going on. There's a little bit of a debate as to whether the NCR Vertibird is destroyed or not. There's a lot of Securitrons all over the place that have been absolutely destroyed. So then my brain starts ticking, and I've come up with a theory that may or may not be true for Season 2. So for argument's sake, the NCR have won at Hoover Dam. House isn't happy about it. Orders Shady Sands to be bombed in retaliation, because don't forget, Vault-Tec are the ones that blew up Shady Sands. House has ties to Vault-Tec because we see at the scene where they're all in that big meeting room with each other where they're discussing dropping the bomb themselves. The NCR then retaliate and attack the Lucky 38, killing Mr. House. Then there's a battle between the NCR and the Securitrons that takes place within New Vegas, which is why we see it in the end credit scene completely dilapidated. But this theory is up for debate, so if you've got any other ideas, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. Don't come for me in the comments. This is just a thought that I had. I know I'm probably wrong. And then in the last week alone, we have seen a surge in plays of all Fallout games across the board on Steam. So if we have a look here, Fallout, the first one, has had a 200% increase in players over the last 30 days. Fallout 2 has had a 69.91% player increase. Fallout Tactics has had a 53.99% increase. Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition has had 141.5%, whereas the normal standard Fallout 3 has had 91.45%. Everybody's favourite, New Vegas, is up 69.71%. Fallout 4, 71.43%. Fallout 4 VR, 80.62. And while we're on the subject of Fallout 4, it's currently Europe's best-selling game almost a decade after release. In a week's time, we have the Fallout 4 Next Gen update coming. Sales are up 7,500%. Like, this is absolutely nuts what a TV series has done for an entire game franchise. If I'm being completely honest, the most impressive part is the way that Fallout 76 has performed over the last week. It's gained 100% more new players. It's absolutely smashing its peak from its launch to 45,173 people all playing this game at once. When I said about Fallout 4 and its sales and things, yes, that's impressive, but it's even more impressive that the most hated game in the franchise, minus Brotherhood of Steel, is the one that is being played the most. So yeah, it's amazing what a TV series can do for an entire franchise. But it's not just the games either, it's people like myself and the content creators that will also benefit from it, because you're going to get new players, which means that people are going to start looking around on YouTube for things to watch, and they're going to come across people like myself, Light, Fargasia, TK's Mantis, Lone Vault Wanderer, Tunnel Snake Fool, Mrs. Fallout. All of these people are going to start benefiting from people enjoying Fallout as a whole. But from me for today, that is it. I apologise over the lack of uploads over the past couple of weeks. I've just had a really hectic couple of weeks, work and family and things like that. But I've been Fallout TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay tuned into Fallout TV, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Love you all. Goodbye.